जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा। जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंह देव भगवान की, श्री श्री निताई गौर सुंदर की, पतित पावन श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Studying from Gantras Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled as The Creations of Fourth Order. The Creations of the Fourth Order, chapter number 21, entitled as Instructions by Maharaj Prithu, text number 27. अस्ति यज्ञपतिर्नाम केषाञ्चिद् अर्ह सत्तमा इहामुत्र च लक्ष्यन्ते ज्योत्स्नावत्य क्वचित् भुवः। अस्ति यज्ञपतिर्नाम केषाञ्चिद् अर्हसत्तमा इहामुत्र च लक्ष्यन्ते ज्योत्स्नावत्युः क्वचित् भुवः। अस्ति यज्ञपतिर्नाम केषाञ्चिद् अर्हसत्तमा इहामुत्र च लक्ष्यन्ते ज्योत्स्नावत्य क्वचित् भुवः। अस्ति यज्ञपति meaning asti, there must be. Yajnapati, the enjoyer of all sacrifices. Nama, of the name. Kesanchit, in the opinion of someone. Araha Sattama, O most respectable, Iha, in this material world, Amutra, after death, Cha, also, Lakshyante, it is visible, Jyotsna Vatyah, powerful, beautiful, Kvachit, somewhere, Bhuvaha, bodies. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: My dear respectable ladies and gentlemen, according to the authoritative statements of Shastra, there must be a supreme authority who is able to award the respective benefits to our present activities. Otherwise, why should there be persons who are unusually beautiful and powerful both in this life and in the life after death? So, Prithu Maharaj is addressing the all assembled personalities in Yajna. Last time we have seen that the persona appearance of Prithu Maharaj and the mood in which he is uh, addressing all the personalities was so wonderful. So in that continuation, this verse is there where he is telling, my dear respectable ladies and gentlemen, according to the authoritative statements of Shastra, there must be a supreme authority who is able to award the respective benefits of our present activities. Otherwise, why should there be persons who are unusually beautiful and powerful both in this life and in the life after death? It's a very long purport, but we'll try to patiently hear. There are many points Prabhupada will be explaining. Prithu Maharaja's sole aim in ruling his kingdom was to raise the citizens to the standard of God consciousness. Since there was a great assembly in the arena of sacrifice, there were different types of men present. But he was especially interested in speaking to those who were not atheists. It has already been explained in the previous verses that Prithu Maharaj advised the citizens to become Adokshaj Dhiya, which means God conscious or Krishna conscious. And in this verse, he specifically presents the authority of Shastra, even though his father was number one atheist who did not abide by the injunctions mentioned in the Vedic Shastras, who practically stopped all sacrifices, who practically stopped all sacrificial performances, and who so disgusted the Brahmanas that they not only dethroned him but cursed and killed him. Atheistic men do not believe in the existence of God, and thus they understand everything which is happening in our daily affairs to be due to physical arrangement and chance. Atheists believe in the atheistic Sankhya philosophy of the combination of Prakriti and Purusha. They believe only in matter and hold that matter under certain conditions of amalgamations gives rise to the living force, which then appears as Purusa, the enjoyer. Then by a combination of matter and living force, the many varieties of material manifestation come into existence. Nor do atheists believe in the injunctions of Vedas. According to them, all the Vedic injunctions are simply theories that have no practical application in life. Taking all this into consideration, Maharaj Prithu suggested that theistic man will solidly reject the views of atheists on the ground that there cannot be many varieties of existence without the plan of superior intelligence. Atheists very vaguely explain that these varieties of existence occur simply by chance. But the theists who believe in injunctions of the Vedas must reach all their conclusions under the directions of the Vedas. In the Vishnu Purana, it is said that entire Varnashram institutions is meant to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The rule and regulations set up for the execution of the duties of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya and Sudra, or Brahmachari, Gyastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa, are all meant to satisfy the Supreme Lord. At the present moment, although The so-called Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudra have lost their original culture. They claim to be Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudra by birthright. Yet they have rejected the proposition that such social and spiritual orders are specially meant for worship of Lord Vishnu. The dangerous Mayavada theory set forth by Shankaracharya that God is impersonal does not tally with the injunctions of the Vedas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore described the Mayavadi philosophers as the greatest offender against the personality of Godhead. According to Vedic system, one who does not abide by the orders of the Vedas is called Nastika or atheist. When Lord Buddha preached this theory of non-violence, he was obliged to deny the authority of Vedas, and for this reason he was considered by the followers of Vedas to be Nastik. But although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very clearly enunciated that the followers of Lord Buddha's philosophy are Nastik or atheist because of their denial of authority of the Vedas, he considered the Sankarites who wanted to establish Vedic authority by trickery and who actually followed the Mayavada philosophy of Buddha's school to be more dangerous than the Buddhists themselves. The Sankarite philosopher's theory that we have to imagine the shape of God is more dangerous than denial of existence of God. Notwithstanding all the philosophical theorizing by atheists or Mayavadis, the followers of Krishna consciousness rigidly live according to the injunctions given in Bhagavad Gita, which is accepted as the essence of all Vedic scriptures. In Bhagavad Gita 18.46 it is said, Yatta pravirtir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmanatam abhyarchya siddhim bindati manava. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all being and who is all-pervading, man can, in the performance of his own duty, attain perfection. This indicates that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original source of everything, as described in the Vedanta Sutra. Janmadhyasyataha. The Lord Himself also confirms in Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhavaha. I am the origin of everything. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original source of all emanations, and at the same time as Paramatma, it is spread all over existence. The Absolute Truth is therefore the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and every living being is meant to satisfy the Supreme Godhead by performing his respective duty. Swakarmana tam abhyarchya. Maharaja Pithu wanted to introduce this formula amongst his Sitchans. The most important point in human civilization is that while one engages in different occupational duties, he must try to satisfy the Supreme Lord by the execution of such duties. That is the highest perfection of life. Svanushthitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritosanam. By discharging one's prescribed duty, one can become very successful in life if he simply satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The vivid example is Arjuna. He was a Kshatriya, his duty was to fight, and by executing his prescribed duty, he satisfied the Supreme Lord and therefore became perfect. Everyone should follow this principle. The atheists who do not are condemned in Bhagavad Gita 16.19 by the following statement, Tanaham dvishta kruran samsaresu naradhaman. In this verse, it is clearly said that persons who are envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are the lowest of mankind and are very mischievous. Under the regulatory principles of the Supreme, such mischievous persons are thrown into the darkest region of material existence and are born of Asura or atheist. Birth after birth, such Asuras go still further down, finally to animal forms like those of tigers or similar ferocious beasts. Thus, for millions of years, they have to remain in darkness without knowledge of Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Purushottama, or the best of all living entities. He is person like all other living entities, but he is the leader or the best of all living beings. That is stated in Vedas also. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. He is the chief of all eternals, the chief of all living entities, and he is complete and full. He has no need to derive benefit by interfering with the affairs of other living entities, but because he is the maintainer of all, he has the right to bring them to the proper standard so that all living entities may become happy. A father wants all of his children to become happy under his direction. Similarly, God or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has the right to see that all living entities are happy. There is no possibility of becoming happy within this material world. There is no possibility of becoming happy within this material world. The Father and Sons are eternal, but if living entity does not come to the platform of his eternal life of bliss and knowledge, there is no question of happiness. Although Purushottama, the best of all living entities, has no benefit to derive from common living entities, he does not have the right to discriminate between their rights and wrongs way. Although Purushottama, the best of all living entities, has no benefit to derive from the common living entities, he does have the right to discriminate between their rights and wrong ways. The right way is the path of activities meant to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as we have already discussed. Swanishtitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. A living entity may engage in any occupational duty, but if he wants to have perfection in his duties, he must satisfy the Supreme Lord. As such, one who pleases him gets better facilities for living, but one who displeases him gets involved in undesirable situations. It is therefore concluded that there are two kinds of duties: mundane duty and duty performed for sake of yajna or sacrifice. Yajna arthat karma. Any karma activity one performs which is not for the purpose of yajna is cause of bondage. Yajna arthat karmano anyatra loko ayam karma bandhana. Work done as sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise work binds one to this material world. Bhagavad Gita 3.9. Karma bandhana, or the bondage of karma, is administered under the regulations of the stringent laws of material nature. Material existence is the struggle to conquer the impediments put forth by material nature. The asuras are always fighting to overcome these impediments, and by the illusory power of material nature, the foolish living entities work very hard within this material world and take this to be happiness. This is called Maya. In that hard struggle for existence, they deny the existence of the Supreme Authority, Purushottama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In order to regulate the activities of the living entities, God has given us courts, just as king gives code of law in a state, and whoever breaks the law is punished. Similarly, the Lord has given the infallible knowledge of the Vedas, which are not contaminated by the four defects of human life, namely the tendency to commit mistake, to be illusioned, to cheat, and to have imperfect senses. If we do not take direction from the Vedas, but act whimsically according to our own choice, we are sure to be punished by the laws of Lord, who offers different types of bodies in 84 lakh species of forms. Material existence or the sense gratification process is conducted according to the type of the body we are given by Prakriti or material nature. As such, there must be divisions of pious and impious activities, punya and papa. In Bhagavad Gita 7.28, it is clearly stated, Yesam tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam vedanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhabrata. One who has completely surpassed the resultant activities of the impious paths of life. This is possible only when one engages exclusively in pious activities, can understand his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, one engages in the Lord's transcendental loving service. The life of engaging always in loving service of the Lord is called Adokchaja Dhiya, or the life of Krishna consciousness, which King Prithu meant his citizens to follow. The different varieties of life and of material existence do not come about by chance and necessity. They are different arrangements made by the Supreme Lord in terms of the pious and impious activities of living entities. By performing pious activities, one can take birth in good family, in good nation, one can get a beautiful body or can become very well educated or very rich. We see therefore that in different places in the different planets there are different standards of life, bodily features and educational statuses, all awarded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to pious or impious activities. Varieties of life therefore develop not by chance but by prearrangement. There is a plan which is already outlined in the Vedic knowledge. One has to take advantage of this knowledge and mold his life in such a way that at the end, especially in the human form of life, he may go back home, back to Godhead by practicing Krishna consciousness. The theory of chance can best be explained in the Vedic literatures by the word Agyata Sukirti, which refers to pious activities performed without the actor's knowledge. But these are also planned. For example, Krishna comes like an ordinary human being, he comes as a devotee like Lord Chaitanya, or he sends his representative, the spiritual master of pure devotee. He is also the planned activity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They come to canvass and educate, and thus a person in the illusory energy of Supreme Lord gets a chance to mix with them, talk with them, and take lessons from them. And somehow or other, if a conditioned soul surrenders to such personalities, and by intimate association with them, chances to become Krishna consciousness, Krishna conscious, he is saved from the material condition of life. Krishna therefore instructs, Swadharman parityajya mamekam saranam raja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshaisyami ma suchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Bhagavad Gita 18.66. The word sarva papebhya means from all sinful activities. A person who surrenders unto him by utilizing the chance to associate with the pure devotee, spiritual master, or other authorized incarnations of Godhead, like Prithu Maharaj, is saved by Krishna, then his life becomes successful. Om Tat Sat. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-salakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkipatamaham Bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Iswaram. So, in this verse, Prithu Maharaj is saying to all his citizens that there is God. God is there. And he is saying, this is explained in the Shastras, God is there. In Vedas it is said God is there. And then he is reasoning and saying that otherwise, why good things happening to bad people or bad things happening to good people? Why people are born very beautiful and powerful? So, Prabhupada has explained this whole instructions of Prithu Maharaj. So first Prabhupada mentioned here that Prithu Maharaj is addressing people who are theists, who are tending towards believing God. Like they are not envious of God, just that they are ignorant of the Lord. So he is trying to address them, not to the people who are envious. This first point Prabhupada is telling. And then he is telling, in the past, we see in this Kali Yuga that how Lord Buddha appeared, and those time people were performing so much sinful activities. So he just take them out of Vedic context. He said because they were referring Vedas and performing sinful activities, and he said no. Then he said ahimsa paramo dharma, and then he rejected the Vedas. And since he rejected the Vedas, they are called atheists. All the followers of Buddha are called atheists. And then later Sankaracharya came. He tried to bring the Vedas back into practice. So uh, he brought the worship of devas, worship, and he said all these forms are imaginary, and asked people to worship them. Mayavad, Pancha Dev Upasana. So Prabhupada is telling because he is practicing atheism in disguise. Therefore, Sankaracharya's philosophy is more dangerous because Buddha is openly saying, "Don't believe in God," and Sankaracharya is saying same thing with the sugar coating. Is telling, no, you just imagine the form of Lord and worship them. So, because this is more dangerous. See, Prabhupada is telling this Mayavad philosophy is more dangerous. Then Prabhupada is saying here that the purpose of following dharma or Vedic system is to satisfy the Lord. Dharmasya sanistitasya, telling that the purpose of the Vedas, purpose of the following all duties, prescribed duties, is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. All the four varnas and four asamas are meant to satisfy the Supreme Lord. That is the actually goal of varnashram system. But at present, people claiming themselves Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya, Sudra, but they are forgetting the purpose of life is to satisfy the Lord. Instead of that, people are thinking how to satisfy ourselves, how to get more and more sense gratification. And Prabhupada is telling further that whatever Sankaracharya said, that God is impersonal. We are just imagining the form of the Lord because at present we are conditioned and it's easier to meditate by imagining the form. And then when we get liberated, we will become one with God. So Prabhupada is telling this is Mayavada philosophy and this is not the Vedic instructions. Vedas does not say this. And Prabhupada quotes various Vedic mantras in which it said that the God is there. Aham sarvasya prabhava, Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Janmadhyasya yata, same thing is told in Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam. So actually God is there. From Him everything is coming. Then dharmasya swanishtitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritosanam. By discharging one's prescribed duty, one can become very successful in life if he simply satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is very important lesson. Just by continuing whatever we are doing and turning everything towards for the satisfaction of the Lord. No need to change our activities or the engagement which we are there. Just we have to use that for the service of the Lord. Prabhupada is giving an example that like Arjuna, he is a fighter. So Krishna has asked him to fight. Now he has to fight not for himself, he has to fight for Krishna. So this is the very, very important point, that in whichever situation we may be, by arrangements of the Lord, we may be beautiful, powerful, we may be uh, uh, different situations by our karma, we may be put into different situations. But whatever situations we are in, whatever duties we have to perform, we should do that for satisfaction of the Lord. So when we are acting in this way, then our life will become perfect. The life becoming perfect means we will become Krishna conscious. That is actually goal of our life. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam yati nasti samse. At the time of death, we should be able to think of Lord. Unless we are Krishna conscious, how we will be able to think of Lord at time of death? And unless we act for the satisfaction of the Lord, how we will be able to become Krishna conscious? So this is Prabhupada is explaining that whatever we are doing, we should do for the satisfaction of Lord. And he gives the example of Sri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki, Sri Prahlad Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki, Nitai Gaur Sundar ki, Patit Pavansh Prabhupada ki jai. And this actually present Kali Yuga, we see this Varnashrama system is practically not there. No Kshatriya. Kshatriya means not by title. When Kshatriya is seeing anywhere injustice is there, he will immediately fight for it. He'll be ready to lay his life. Cannot simply watch and go. That is the Kshatriya. So where we can find there is no Kshatriya in spirit, people just continue what they are doing. In front of them, all sort of nonsense will be going on. So we see no Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishya, Sudra. Sudras is there, Kalau Sudra Sambhava. But Varnashrama system is collapsed. But the principle remains there, that in whichever situations we are presently, all our with all our activities, we can try to please the Lord. Whether we are not practicing Varnashrama doesn't matter. But if whatever situations we are in and we try to please the Lord, we will get the benefit. That's what Prabhupada implemented when he went into West. Prabhupada did not started preaching to Brahmanas or Vaisyas or Kshatriyas and made them devotee. He started to preaching all karmis, their sinful people in Kali Yuga. But towards the end, what was the result? They all started becoming devotees, practicing Krishna consciousness very seriously. And how did Prabhupada do that? Just engage in whatever talents they had, they just channeled it towards Krishna. If somebody was good in singing, Prabhupada engaged them to perform Kirtana. Somebody was good in cooking, Prabhupada asked them to cook bhoga for the Lord. Somebody was good in writing, Prabhupada used them for write and help him for editing. Like this, various somebody was good in painting, Prabhupada engaged them for painting. So somebody was good in making a sculpture, Prabhupada used them to make deities. In this way, he used everybody for the service of the Lord. And while they were engaged in this way, actually their consciousness was changing. So that is the actually aim, perfection of life, that our consciousness should change. We should become Krishna conscious, we should become devotee of the Lord. That is actually the goal of human life. Because Prabhupada is said in this purport that, I'll repeat that, is telling that this material world, we cannot be happy. So, Prabhupada is telling no one can be happy in this material world. Why no one can be happy? Because Dukhalayam asasvatam. Dukhalayam asasvatam. This is a temporary and miserable word. Birth, death, old age, disease. We are all subjected to all these things. So we cannot be happy. So we should go back to spiritual world. We are coming from there and we should go back there. And for that we should all become Krishna conscious, fully Krishna conscious. And how that will become? It will become like this only. Now we are working very hard day and night for the sense gratification, for satisfying our senses. But same thing we should do. Instead of satisfying our senses, we should try to satisfy Krishna. With what activities we don't need to change. Only we should orient that towards the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. That's only we have to do. And for that, we will need an expert guidance. How to channel it. Therefore, one should take shelter of a pure devotee. So this is the Prabhupada is stressing in this. And Prabhupada is telling that Prithu Maharaj's father, Vena, King Vena, he was the number one atheist. And he taught people to perform sacrifice for satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. He declared himself God. But when Prithu Maharaj has taken over, he is trying to now correct the things which was done wrong. His father has done all those things, now he is correcting it. He is telling, no, God is there. And he says that God is there and we are subjected to all our activities. If we are doing punya, we will enjoy. If we are doing papa, we have to suffer. Because there is one person who is in control of everything. So he is trying to redo things. As Prabhupada mentioned about King Vena. And also Prabhupada is telling that unless one becomes, this quote, Prabhupada is quoting the verse of Bhagavad Gita 7.28. Yesam tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam tve dvanda mo nirmukta bhajante mam dridvrata. So, who can worship the Lord with determination? How the determination will come to perform devotional service? The devotional determination will come when we stop sinful activities. Tve yesam tu antagatam papam. When we completely stop sinful activities, then determination to perform devotional service is actually developed. One who has completely surpassed the resultant activities of the impious path of life. This is possible only when one engages exclusively in pious activities, can understand his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, one engages in the Lord's transcendental loving service. So this is the secret. It's like we want to ignite fire, but same time we are pouring the water. It will not work out. If we want to become Krishna conscious, then we have to stop sinful activity. See that when Mrigari approached Narad Muni, that please help me, I don't want to go to hell. Because he understood that no one will share his sinful activities. His sin nobody will share. His wife will not share, his son were not ready to share. Parents, everybody, they said, no, you have done sin, you suffer. Why we should suffer for your sin? Understood? Then he took shelter of Narad Muni. And then Narad Muni, first thing he said, I can help you first, but first you should break this bow and arrow. And for that, he was hesitant. He's saying, no, if I break my bow and arrow, what I will get to eat? How I will survive? Then Narad Muni also assured him, don't worry, that I will take care. Then he broke his bow and arrow, and then only Narad Muni asked him to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Otherwise, what is use? Simply, one side we are igniting the fire, on the other side pouring the water. Waste of time. So being an expert guide, he first stopped him. Don't do sinful activities. And then asked him to chant Hare Krishna. That's what we also do during initiation. It is asked, follow 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. And chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 16 rounds. Both is said, do's and don'ts. Yama and niyama, both is said. Then only we can actually go forward. It's like we are driving a car, both accelerator and the brake, if you put together, the vehicle will not move. It will stay where it is. So therefore, the sinful activities is like putting brake and performing chanting of Hare Krishna or doing devotional service is like putting accelerator. So we should release the brake and then put the accelerator, then vehicle will move forward. So this is what Prabhupada is explained here, that in this verse, or the previous verses, Prabhupada is addressing this, is saying this point, Adhoksha Dhiya. The Prithu Maharaj is requesting his citizens to become Adhoksha Dhiya, become Krishna conscious. Same thing, what Prabhupada is telling, to become Krishna conscious, same thing is also telling, become Krishna conscious. Prithu Maharaj is also telling his citizens to become Krishna conscious. So, to become Krishna consciousness, we should first accept the presence of Lord, presence of God. The first thing is to accept there is a God. So he is starting with this only. There is a God. And he's telling, it is mentioned in the Vedas. It is not, I am some imagination I am speaking to you. It is said into Vedas. So Vedas are free from 4 defects. Why Vedas are free from 4 defects? Because it is coming from God, who is free from Sabda Brahman. It is coming from the Lord. And Lord is free from any type of 4 defects. That is coming from 3 modes of material nature. Last time we saw. Lord is above Uttama. He is above influence of 3 modes. So similarly the Vedas are also free from effects of 3 modes. So whatever is said in Vedas is absolute truth. And then it's mentioned that though God has nothing to do with the living entities, He doesn't need anything from them. He is called Atma Rama, self-satisfied. For pleasure, even He does not need Lakshmi Devi. When he has to, Brahmaji has to appear, he doesn't need the help of Lakshmi Devi. By his lotus navel itself, Brahmaji is appearing. So the Lord is Atma Rama. He doesn't need, but as affectionate father, because all the living entities are actually part and parcel of the Lord, as being very affectionate father, He has right to see they are in good path or not. The father doesn't need the children, but still he is very interested to see that they are on right track. And he will be always keep correcting them. Should not do like this, do like this. Because he has a personal interest. It is his right to say, don't do like this. So similarly, Prabhupada is telling that God is, Krishna is interested, and because he is interested, he doesn't need from living entities anything, but still he is interested. It's a natural thing because he is origin. He is an affectionate father. He is either coming himself or sending his representatives. Time to time is doing. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam sijamiham. So Krishna keeps sending to actually uh, living entities to help them to become Krishna conscious. That is actually the Lord is trying to do. It's not that he's marketing himself. Sometimes people are so much degraded consciousness. They're thinking, "Oh, God is coming and marketing himself. I am God. Aham sarvasya prabhu." Why is so much marketing himself? Like that people think, but it is not. Krishna doesn't need anything from us. He is a very low kind of mentality. He is just out of affection. He wants us to become Krishna conscious. Because when we Krishna conscious only, we'll go back to spiritual world. Otherwise, we'll suffer here. So it is, Prabhupada is telling us where that living entities are condemned. Condemned. 84 lakh species of life is there. How many living entities are there? So many, innumerable. In only human form of life, there is opportunity to think of Krishna. In all other forms, they can't even think of Krishna. So condemned. We are so much become condemned that even if we want, we are not able to think of Krishna. Our present situation is also like, even if we want, we are not able to think of Krishna. You see the frog. Frog is condemned, cannot think of Krishna. Dog life is condemned, cannot think of Krishna. Cat is condemned. Mosquitoes, rat, all condemned life, can't think about Krishna. And unfortunately, we are also trying to think of Krishna and we are not able to do that. So, how much sinful we are that we are not able to think of Krishna, and how much mercy we need so that we be able to think of Krishna. And Krishna is actually most merciful. It's not. It's not that he's just watching. He's trying to help us. He is coming himself as Lord Chaitanya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming himself and distributing highest meditation, highest worship. He is teaching pure love, which is experienced by the gopis, which is exchanged by the gopis. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaur Tuse Namaha. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, you will simply get this. You just chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Just by chanting this, sincerely chanting this, we will get that consciousness. That consciousness will get not only Krishna conscious, but the topmost consciousness in that Krishna consciousness. That what is actually experienced or felt by the topmost devotees of the Lord. So that much Lord is merciful. Just that we have to synchronize ourselves. We should try to tap the mercy of the Lord. That is actually we have to do. Nobody can help except ourselves. We have to only help ourselves. Who can help? Who can chant instead of us? We have to only chant. We have to only try to hear Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But you see that we are so much condemned that we are not even able to do that. So the prescription here is mentioned that whatever we are doing, we should not do that for our sense gratification. Then we will remain like in animal consciousness. What the animal they do? They are only interested in themselves. Only interested, they are not interested in anything else. the two animals will fight. There will be fighting will be there because they are thinking, no, I should get this. Another thing, I should get it. But we should not be like that. We should come out of that consciousness. We should think, let this be for Krishna. Everybody thinks that let it be for Krishna. Then there will be actually real peace, and we will be actually progressing in spiritual life. Whatever we are doing, we should actually try to dovetail it for Krishna's service. Prabhupada is telling you, you are going for work, you give the result of work for Krishna. That's how we can dovetail. If we are not able to give 100%, at least give some percentage to Krishna. Then we will see that slowly will progress. So, in Bhagavad Gita, we see that from 12th chapter, from 18 to 13 or 12, it is described, Krishna is telling, always think of Krishna, always think of me with love, with your intelligence fixed on me. Okay, you are not able to do this. You try to do this. Under the guidance of a spiritual master, follow 4 regulative principles. Try to do this. Then Krishna, okay, by some considerations you are not even able to do this. Then work for me. Work for me means many things. Like Prabhupada initially was trying to spread this mission and there was no money. Then he asked his devotees, his disciples, go out and work. They may be thinking they are working for the person who is, suppose they are working in restaurant, they are working for a restaurant person. No. They are working for Prabhupada. Prabhupada asked them to work and they get, at the end they get some salary and give it to Prabhupada. So Krishna is telling, oh, work for me. Then if you are not able to work for me, there may be many considerations not able to, okay, with your results, you do some good things. Something good for the society, something good for living entity, something good you do. And Krishna is telling that this is better than this is cultivating knowledge to understand who am I, why I am suffering, what is Brahman. And then is telling then better than this, when we further advance, we will meditate on the Paramatma. Then we will further advance, then we will be actually worshipping the Supreme Lord. This is how whole thing is there. So in all our circumstances, we can become Krishna consciousness, Krishna conscious. The formula is given, Ma Manusmara Yudhyacha. Whatever activities we are doing, we should do for Krishna and think about Krishna. Those both things we have to do simultaneously. We have to, whatever we are doing, do it for Krishna, thinking of Him. Like whatever we are doing, Hathe Kam Mukhe Nam. Like we can engage ourselves and same time we should also think of Lord. In this way we will become Krishna conscious. Gantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Patit Pavansh Prabhupada ki jai.